we got to touch on that, Jesse. What do you know about the Montreal screw job?
Well, the thing was that what had happened prior to that was um, Medusa Maselli, who was wrestling, I don't remember the name. Um, she went to work for WCW, but she was the champion
Yeah,
in
she went by
WWE, and
Alondra Blaze.
she threw the belt. Yeah,
Yeah, Alondra Blaze.
in the
Yeah.
trash can. Vince was so afraid that because Brett was going to WCW that he would do the same thing, and that's what he was afraid of.
Oh, okay. The titles, the championships. Does one keep it? If I'm champion, I keep the belt.
Yeah, you take it with you.
Really?
Yep, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, so when somebody else, so if somebody else, wow. So whoever is champion, they have the belt, they keep it, they take it home with them. It's
that's theirs, while they're champion.
And if they're gonna switch promotions, they don't have to give it back.
No, they do. As a matter of fact, Bret Hart was asked to do the job for Sean,
right?
So that before in other words, to do the job for Sean, right. And he didn't want to do it because at the time Shawn Michaels was having a real bad attitude, big-headed, disrespectful towards him and everything. So he said that he didn't. Bret didn't want to lose the title in Canada, his hometown. He will lose it anywhere else, after that night, anywhere else, he will, do the job for Sean. But Vince didn't trust that. He didn't trust the fact that what if he doesn't, and takes off to WCW, takes that belt and trashes it. That's what Vince was about. So that's why they did what they did.
Okay, well, here's what I heard, and I'm sure you know better than I do that. At first, Bret was gonna go ahead and put HBK over, but then HBK said something to Bret, somewhere along the line like, "Hey, I'm glad you're doing that because I wouldn't do it for you," or something like that. Because I guess Shawn Michaels, like you said, had a real bad attitude. Was very
he did.
Was very unlike. And then at that point, Bret Hart said, "You know what, Charlie, I'm not gonna do this favor for this Lato man. Do you know if that's true or not?"
That's very true. That's very true. But something else was said. Something about sunny days. And that got back to his wife, to Bret's wife, and that's what really did it for Bret,
Yeah.
So under no circumstances, so he would have done, and Bret would have done the job somewhere else, but not in his hometown, anywhere but there. He would have. I believe that he would have. Yeah.
Bret Hart's my favorite wrestler of all time, and I don't think that's ever gonna change. It's just kind of locked in there, Yeah. What kind of character was Bret the Hitman Hart? Because I hear kind of like se cree mucho. Like he's there's that old saying, "Hey, don't meet your heroes because you'll be let down." And
that's very true.
He's kind of one where it's like, yeah, I'm probably better off not meeting him because it kind of seems like I said, like he's just he's not a fun guy to be around.
Yeah, I was closer to Owen Hart, his brother. Great guy, man. I mean, he was such a great person.
Yeah, man,
and great friend. With Bret, I knew Bret longer than I knew Owen, but I always stayed away from him. I don't know why. Just he, I mean, I'm sure I refereed matches of his. We're in the same dressing room, but I didn't really, mingle too much. I mean, I give wrestlers their space,
Right.
And so I never dealt too much with him. But one time, after slowly, I was kind of not refereeing as much, but I was. They allowed me to go out and help out and get the guys ready to make their entrance into the ring. Mm-hmm. And so I was asked by Chief Strongbow, or one of the I think it was Chief. He said, "Hey, make sure that they get out there on time. Kind of time it where the match is almost over, and make sure that they're ready. They're by the curtain." So I kept telling Bret that he was up next, and and that match will end probably within the next few minutes. And he kept ignoring me. He didn't, he wasn't going out the door, to get over by the curtain, to be ready.
At the gorilla position.
At the
gorilla position.
The gorilla position.
Gorilla position, yeah.
So I kept telling him, come on, Brett, come on. And then somebody opened the door and decided where he couldn't see it. I said, Chief, I've been telling him for the last hour. And he jumped there. He jumped and he started to grab that jacket, start putting it on. It wasn't even the Chief. And that's the only rip I ever paid on him, I guess.
You know, Jesse, I have like a billion questions, but I'm gonna narrow it down, man, just so we won't go too long. But who is the best in-ring performer in your opinion that you've seen? There in person, that you've actually been in the ring, either performing with, refereeing, or you were just there in the building where you're just like, you know what, this guy can really go in the ring.
Brother, one of the greatest matches that I've ever refereed, I felt that because I was used to WWE matches, and nothing went past 15 minutes, 20 minutes on a house show. But there was an event that I refereed. It was affiliated with the NWA at the time, under NWA rules, and it was at the Olympic. I think it was at the Olympic Auditorium. Mm-hmm. And anyway, it was Ric Flair versus Magnum TA.
Wow.
This match, bro, man, halfway through, I would say probably half an hour into the match, I said, man, when are you guys taking it home? And Rick said, oh, we're halfway there yet. We got another, we're halfway there. I said, oh, shit. And it was so exciting, man. I mean, this match was very, very exciting, man. And I mean, fast paced, everything.
Who was calling the shots there, Jesse? Who was calling the shots mostly for the match?
For the match, no, it was booked. I don't know who, but they both had it all planned out, man, really well. The thing is, I'm supposed to get tackled and take a bump out of the ring.
Okay.
Where I don't see Ric Flair throw the other guy over the top rope on the other side. I don't see it because I'm on the floor. And then they bring it back inside, and then I see the opposite guy throwing this one over here. So then I disqualify the one I see.
Okay.
But when I got tackled, I was so into that match that when they hit me with that tackle, I went flying backwards, man. I swear to God, backwards between top and center rope. You never see anybody fly backwards, upside down. I flew upside down, bro, and I fell on the concrete floor. And Ric Flair's like, "Are you okay?" I said, "I'm fine." And then they continued, and but that particular, it wasn't a high ring, so it was a low ring. Okay. Maybe instead of 3 feet from floor to the floor of the ring, it was maybe a foot and a half, maybe 2 feet, maybe 2 feet instead of 3. But still, I took that bump, and I mean, but it was so exciting, bro. I mean, it was one of those hidden moments of heat, where you just do it, and I don't know if I even had any control. I just went flying, brother. I don't know. I can't tell you. I got hit and I just flew. I don't know what. Instead of taking a bump and rolling out, I flew.
When people think of great matches, memorable matches, the first match that I think most people bring up is Macho Man versus Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. People always bring that up, and I'm like, no, that's a really good match. I always enjoyed SummerSlam 1992 over there in the UK. I think in London, I believe, between Bret Hart and the British Bulldog. But I'm biased, because Bret Hart is my favorite wrestler. But no, there's a lot of great matches. Like I said, man, I got like so much more, but we're getting short on time. So let's get to today. You have the business back then, once upon a time, that we once knew, where they had these characters, which was like crazy. I even want to ask you, how did the Brooklyn Brawler come to be? But you got all these characters to where it is today. And we were talking earlier about kayfabe. And I want to get to that. Before there was no social media, there was none of this that we're doing right here. Nobody knew anything. The only time you saw the wrestler was when he was going out to the ring, did his thing in the ring, and walked back. That was it. That's all you knew. You didn't even know their real names. You couldn't
No,
look
no, no,
anything
no,
up.
no.
You didn't know anything.
Yeah.
Today you got the heels, you got anything and everybody on their IG. They're out there fishing with their buddies and smiling. The only one, the last surviving one that kept kayfabe was Undertaker. He
Right.
kept it very, very close to the vest, and I applaud him for that. But Jesse, what's your thoughts on the business today, brother?
Well, the thing is, man, and is that every wrestler acts more like a mark themselves. They want the whole world to know that, even the young guys coming up, unfortunately, they get on social media, they start, bragging about themselves. And that's what hurts the business. And then when you got a match going on in the ring, you want the wrestlers in the dressing room. You don't want them out there. That's what made those other guys so great, because you weren't able to get close enough to to really have a good conversation with them, back then, but nowadays, they mingle with the crowd. And then even if you look up to a certain wrestler and that, man, I love this guy, he's my hero, this and this. But then when you get to meet him and you see how stupid he is, you lose that image of him, because they act like children,
Yeah.
They don't know how to behave. They don't know how to act, professionally. I tell my guys, you guys don't understand that the fans that are watching you right now, just like you think of the wrestlers that you loved back in the day and had so much respect, well, the fans nowadays from now, they think of you that way. They think that you're something big, something special, But when you start acting like a fool, you're gonna lose them.
Right. Yeah. And we all see what's going on with like Jeff Hardy and guys like that, man, that just can't get out of trouble. And because where it's at today, you can't hide any of this stuff. None of this stuff can be hidden. So whenever anybody says something or does something dumb on their social media, it blows up. It's there and everybody can see. And it's like, hey man, you're supposed to be this killer, I don't want to see you kicking back, smiling with your buddies, fishing and stuff. It's like, come on, man. You play this character where you're like, this psychopath, man. But now it's just not believable. But at the same time, characters have changed. You don't really have the characters. Back in the day, you had guys like the Junkyard Dog. You got Hillbilly Jim. The Brooklyn Brawler. You got guys like the Big Boss Man. You don't got those characters today.
No, you don't. No.
Them are going by not so much their actual real name, but they do have names that are pretty much
the character names.
Character names. It's not like the Mountie and stuff like that. It's like no, this guy's going by Randy Orton. Guys like that. I think The Rock was kind of one of the last ones that had a name that was something like that. But what's your take? Do you think we need to bring back characters, or do you think that won't sell today?
To me, what I see right now, what I've noticed is that everybody pretty much dresses alike. You don't see. What about the Moondogs, man? They came out in those Levi's, cut off Levi's with a damn bone. Those are freaking characters, man. Man. But by God, the wrestlers from the that I grew up watching, even in the '60s and stuff, man, those guys were characters, bro. And that's the reason that that I got into this business. I don't think I never thought that I would be getting into the business if it wasn't for the conversation that I had that I witnessed with Juan, my tag team partner, and Hector Guerrero. I probably would have never gotten in this business. It wasn't my intention. But once I got involved, it hit me, man. That bug, it hit me, man. And I love this business, and I keep doing what I'm doing with my wrestling school to give the guys an opportunity, a platform for them to get their exposure and get some practice in front of people, because it was so hard. This business was so hard for me anyway, for me and my partner. It was so hard to get into, and that I'm giving that opportunity to the new generation.
Let's talk about that a little bit, Jesse. What are you doing today? Talk a little bit about your promotion, what it is that you got going today, because I'm not sure a lot of people know about this. I know Booker T. He's got his thing going down in Texas. I think it's called Reality of Wrestling, I believe it is. What do you got going on, Jesse? What's Mr. Jesse Hernandez got going on today?
All the way since 1996. We started Empire Wrestling Federation. I had promoted under different names before, and had other partners in the past before 96. I mean, I started in 1981. Right. By 1980, sometime in 83, I came up with an angle, and that's what kind of got me in as I think this is what helped me getting involved more in promoting. Is that, like I said, out of appreciation of using the building and the promotion giving me the break that they gave us, to be able to train at that San Bernardino Arena.
Historic.
San Bernardino Arena. And then I will sell tickets at rings before the show. I'd have a jogging suit on, and then underneath I'd have my wrestling clothes. I'd go out and wrestle the second match or first match or whatever. And then I go back out and sell tickets during intermission. So something gave me the idea that, what happened was the matchmaker, Tom Renesto, because I things were going downhill, the promotion wasn't getting as many people as they had before. And I said, why, man, we need to promote more. So I had suggested that if the promotion will purchase some posters and flyers, I'd put them out and get more people in the building. So I started doing that, and it helped. And the promoter one day asked me, Jess, I want to go out with you, and you can show me around where you've been putting all these posters, because I want to take the names of the buildings that are allowing the flyers in, and we'll give them an advertisement on one of the posters. And so we took a ride, and I showed him here, there. He started writing names, and they created a poster with promoting all the businesses. In the meantime, as we're riding around, I came up with this idea. Tom, can you imagine if before intermission, there's and I even mentioned the guys. There's this guy and that guy wrestling, and one, because at the time I was refereing as well. I was doing everything.
Okay. So
selling tickets, refereeing, and wrestling as a good guy, bad guy, and everything. And so I catch the guy using the ropes to pin the guy. Referee doesn't see it. So I snitch on him. I snitch on the guy. Hey, Ran, come here, man. He used his foot on the rope, for the pin. So then he makes the match continue, and the guy that used the feet on the rope, he loses. So he gets back at me while I'm selling tickets. He comes and attacks me. I suggested, he attacks me from behind. I drop a couple of tickets on the floor, maybe a little bit of change, whatever, and we take that fight all the way to the outside, out to the front of the building. And, I come back with my shirt torn, and I challenge him to a match for what he did to me, and then I had suggested at the time, and I'm just going on, I'm just making conversation. I didn't think this guy was going to take my shit serious.
Yeah.
So then I says, I challenge him to a match. Come back, and on this match, on our first match, we have the Flores brothers, a couple of Mexicans from Tijuana that were working for the promotion. They come in and help him beat the crap out of me, In the meantime, Juan, my tag team partner, and that also refereed once in a great while, him and then I suggested Chris Adams, they come out to save me. Okay. And then we come back with a 6-man tag match that week after. And, I like that, but it can't be Chris Adams. It'll be my son. He says his son was this guy named Tim Palfrey, Juan and Tim, my son can come out and save you. And what a mistake I made, because the Flores brothers were stiff as hell, man. I felt like a soccer ball, man. The way they were stomping the hell out of me when they came into the ring, I couldn't wait for my guys to come in and save me. So anyway, they come in for the save. I got my ass kicked, and then we're coming back with a 6-man tag match, and the following week. And so then I get to the building. We're prepared. I'm ready for that 6-man deal. And Jeff Walter says, "We're not going to do that match today." I said, "Why not, Jeff? I mean, shit, man." He said, No. We got Mascaras on the card today. And I want you to get full credit for your, for attendance because of your match. He said, "I want you to get full credit. We can't, I don't want to do it now because the one that for attendance will be, the credit will go to Mascaras." And then with Mascaras, they charge a couple of dollars more for adults and a dollar more for kids or whatever.
Okay.
Anyway, so he had us pick it outside. Hey, the promoter doesn't want to give us this match, and we've got to get some signatures, man. So all the people are, "Wow, what's going on?" Outside. And then here comes Mil Mascaras, walking to the building. Channel 9 behind him, following him into the building. And, "Hey, what's going on over here?" So all the attention goes to us over here. "What's going on?" And I tell him, "Hey, well, the promoter, he promised us this match and he doesn't give it to us, and then that it's not sanctioned by the state athletic commission. This is a real fight. This is a real deal, and we can't have that, unless people really want it, and then we need signatures." So anyway, we came back the next week. We had the match, and they called it lights out match. In other words, this is violent. We'll save it till the very end. And if you want to go home, you can go home. You don't have to see it, because this, this is not a wrestling match. It's more like a fight, And so that's what they made it out to be. And
did you know you're going to be a promoter? Did you want to be a promoter?
I never thought about it, but no, it never entered my mind. But that's what helped with doing something like this. When Mike sold out to Vince McMahon, Mike LaBelle, who was the main promoter out of LA, he will tell people, or he told me, I get a call after, he became the California promoter for Vince McMahon because Vince came in when we had a commission. He didn't have a promoter's license in California. So he bought out Mike LaBelle, but Mike LaBelle at first had to be the promoter for the WWF because the license was under his name. So he kept his office open because he had other businesses as well. And at the time, I was laid off from my job. So Mike would have me come in on Mondays to help him in the office, do errands, go to buy this or go to buy stamps or take this to the bank or whatever. I'm the one that when Vince started sending the videos from New York, and they put the stuff on Channel 9. I will deliver the videos over to Channel 9 so they can put them on TV. And then I was involved in because of the commission. We had to send a notice of who was wrestling to the athletic commission. So I had to create 4 matches. WWF at the time would send four matches, I think it was. And then we had to do another 4 matches with local talent, at the very beginning. Because the first show was done in San Diego, and it didn't draw that well. So the next day, it was LA, and we had 2,000 people, But what Vince started doing, he started giving away watches and this and that. And they started collecting, a list, so that he could do mail-ups, fill your name and address here. We'll say, you have a chance to win a watch. But he created that so that, so he, for the next show, he could send out flyers out, and that's how I learned a lot, So then when, so after a while, somebody wanted a show in Fresno or wherever, you're going to get a call from so-and-so, charge them so much, pay the boys a couple of $100 each, send me $200 and you keep the rest. Is what Mike said. Okay. And so he's the one that kind of pushed me that way, and that's how I became, and then and back then, even somebody with that job's specification, I should have had a booker's license, which I didn't have, but it didn't matter. I could do pretty much whatever. Mike's mother was in the head honcho out of the athletic commission, and I knew a lot of the commissioners. They never gave me any trouble. I was never, bothered. But yet, when I did start to do events on my own, I would rent a license. I would pay $500 to use somebody's license, some promoter's license. But I couldn't tell that to the commission. The way to do it and get away with it is, you're going to give. I'm going to give the promoter 25% of the commission. 25%, and then with the rest, I pay the boys and I keep the rest. You don't tell them that you're going to pay them $500.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because that will get you in trouble. But yeah, man,
So you run your promotion out of San Bernardino?
San Bernardino. Right now, I'm in San Bernardino. I did a show just recently in Hesperia. I'm all over the place.
Your website.
Yeah, just to.
He's got a website too.
Yeah, see if you guys could shoot me a link so I could go ahead and I
have go to EmpireWrestlingFederation.com. But right now, man, just to let you know of some of the events that I have coming up on Saturday, March 11th. I'm at a place called Chicken and Waffles. I love Chicken and Waffles over in San Bernardino on Highland Avenue. That's on the 11th of March. On the 17th, I'm doing an event at Alasta Brewing Company in Covina. On Thursday, March 30th, I'm involved in a big show with Jake, bringing in Jake the Snake Roberts. He'll be signing autographs, and guys like Chris Masters. Who else? Sin Bodie. Yeah, Alberto Del Rio is going to be on the card as well. And that's a big event. Maybe you can shoot you the flyer or whatever. And then and believe it or not, on the 31st, I'm involved in helping somebody else run an event in LA. It's a private event, private party type of thing. So I'll have somebody run that for me because on the 31st, I also have a private event for Heineken, where they have like a meeting at 3:00, and then after 3:00, all the employees will go outside and watch wrestling. I'll give them an event for the three matches.
Heineken the beer.
Yeah, Heineken beer.
Okay.
And one of the one on where was this one at? That's over in Santa Fe Springs.
Okay,
over by LA.
Springs.
Yeah. They have a Heineken there. They got another one later on in the year. I'll be doing another one at the one in Huntington Beach.
Okay, nice.
And then we go back to the VFW in San Bernardino on Saturday, April 8th.
You're kind of regular there.
I'm a regular there.
Right.
And then on the April 14th, Lucha Libre night at the 66ers stadium in San Manuel Stadium. I got after the baseball game.
The baseball game. Yeah, the San Bernardino 66ers.
Yeah, man. So I got another, so I can brag about the Tamale Festival in Riverside.
He's always busy, Ed.
I'm busy.
Always going somewhere,
and there's more shows than that. There's more events than that. So I got my hands full.
Yeah, Jesse, is this work for you, or do you love what you do, brother?
I do love what I do. I'm sorry. It's sometimes I feel, man, how long can I keep doing this? But when you see the faces of the fans when they leave our show, and they tell you how much they love it and how much they enjoy this than going to a bigger venue, where you don't even get to see the wrestlers that up close. Here you can mingle a little bit with you can catch them on the way to the ring or on the way back to the dressing room or whatever.
Yeah.
They love it, man.
We need to get you down to a show. You're going to be surprised on how great the talent is that they have. It's unbelievable. I'm telling you.
Oh,
Not because he's my friend. Just this is the way it is.
I will love to go. Listen, just like you were saying, Jesse, right? I've never been to a WrestleMania, but this year I'm going to be at both WrestleManias, both night 1 and 2. And I'm doing it because I'm a big fan, and I could say that I've been at a WrestleMania. But yes, most likely, I'm gonna end up watching it on the jumbotron because it's such a huge stadium. I might end up just looking up at the jumbotron watching it. But at least I could say I was at a WrestleMania.
Yeah.
But you're right.
Not to,
But like you said, at these smaller events, you're there. You're there. You're interacting with a lot of these wrestlers, man, talking all kinds of smack and everything. And the reason why, well, I don't know if it's the exact reason why everybody falls in love with it, but I'll tell you this: whenever I watch wrestling, I get lost. I don't. Anything that was on my mind, work, whatever it may be, I'm not thinking about anything. I'm there.
Wrestling
I'm
is
lost in that moment. The characters, the stories that's being told in the ring, all the smack talking, everything. I'm lost in the moment. Nothing else in the world matters. I'm not thinking about anything else.
right. Wrestling is therapy.
Yeah.
Therapy, brother. Therapy. Hey, I'll tell you what, man. When they had the fires out here in San Bernardino, one of them, the mayor, I worked for the city of San Bernardino. I was a code enforcement officer, and they told me, hey, the mayor wants you to grab your wrestlers because they had a bunch of people over here at Norton Air Force Base, that had their houses were in danger, so they moved everybody out and they put them over here at Norton, in one of the barracks. And he says, grab your wrestlers, grab your ring truck, and go out there and set up that ring and give those people some entertainment. And brother, even though these people thought, they were losing their houses and shit from the fire, I got my boys out there within a couple of hours, and we set up that ring, and those people enjoyed themselves. They forgot for at least an hour and a half or so that they had any problems, man. They were yelling and screaming and enjoying themselves. To me, that's a beautiful thing.
It is. It is.
I do it because of, because of the fans. And I do it for my guys to give them that opportunity, a platform that they can do this in.
And you know what? Here's the thing that needs to be said. It's guys like you, Jesse, that keep wrestling alive. Of course, everybody looks at the big promotions, but without the smaller promotions, there is no big promotions.
Right.
You need these smaller promotions. You need them around, man, for guys to get their feet wet. Imagine if there was no small promotions, you'd have guys going in, not really knowing what they're doing, kind of just learning on the job. You need a lot of these small promotions, things what you're doing. So whether they want to say it or not, in my opinion, I think the big guys need the little guys for them to live
Absolutely. A lot of the guys that are in AEW, for example, are guys that came out of my school. They, the Frankie Kazarians and then guys like that, Scorpio Sky, worked a lot of EWF events. As a matter of fact, Scorpio Sky, I didn't realize that until, a few years after he started with me, trained with me a couple of times, but I didn't remember him, or whatever. But once he started wrestling, I wanted to use him at one of my shows. And so I got his home number, and his mother picked up the phone. And I said, hey, this is Jesse Hernandez. I'd like to speak to Scorpio. Jesse, she got so excited. Jesse, my son went to your school. It was the first school that he went to. And she just was so happy and to talk to me and everything. And I had no idea that he had come to my school. There's a lot of people that have gone through my school, and some are working behind the scenes in WWE. Some are active as wrestlers in WWE and NXT. And, I got guys scattered all over the world, man. Rocky Romero,
he's in New Japan, right?
He's in New Japan. Right now he's working Mexico as well. Yeah, he's a big star out in Mexico City at the Consejo Mundial de Lucha Libre.
Jesse's got his stamp all over the wrestling world, and I can guarantee you that, man.
And you know what? You just touched on something right there. Wrestling is global. It's the world, man. It's global. It's not just one country. No, it's global. It's a global language, man. Wrestling is a global language. So, man, Jesse, I don't want to ask too much of you, brother, But man, I would love to get you back on here. I mean, we've already been going for a while, and I feel like we just scratched the surface. I got like so many more questions, and definitely want to tap into that mind of yours. You know where all the bodies are buried, but I don't want to ruin it for myself. Some things I don't want to know, because I don't want to ruin it for myself either. Yeah. But Jesse, I just want to thank you so much for coming on here, carnal, and chopping it up with me. And this was definitely a thin slice of heaven. You let me be a kid, just talking to you, just bringing all these memories, man. But any last words, Jesse? Where they can find you? Anything that you want to say to the gente? Anything that you want to promote? Your promotional company? Anything, brother? Go for it.
One of the I wish we could promote all my shows, but right now my main concern would be the March 30th event. Okay. It's at the San Gabriel Sheraton Hotel. That's a big event, and Jake the Snake Roberts, he's not going to wrestle there, but he'll be there,
The website.
Signing autographs. But go to EmpireWrestlingFederation.com and you'll see other events there as well. And
I'm going to go ahead and post, for anybody who's watching, I'm going to go ahead and post that link so you guys can just tap on that link and get all the info.
Yeah. And, one thing I can say, though, you train people, they make it big. Some appreciate it, some you never hear from, as they learn, in other words, I have often said, some of my students, after they start moving around, and because what they already know, it brings them closer to other wrestlers that help them because, in other words, they see somebody that's doing well and they help them. Okay. And those same young wrestlers, because this guy's helping him, and he's maybe at the moment he's got a bigger name than the guy that actually trained him. So they start giving credit, in other places, which is fine, because I think that everybody should learn from everybody. Mm-hmm. I mean, I go ahead and help other students that are not mine. And I had a guy one time, just because we joined two schools together, mm-hmm. and this guy came from another school, but we joined the schools, as one. And I kept correcting him, this guy. And one day he says, I got to apologize to you. I said, why? Because I thought you were always picking on me because you were always correcting me. And so I thought that maybe you were picking on me because I wasn't originally your student, but now I realized that you were doing it for my own good. I said, that's right, because you're coming into a business that I'm involved in. And if you're going to be associated with me in any way, shape, or form, you got to be the best, brother.
Right.
You got to be the best, so it's my job to let you know that you know how to do things correctly.
Right. Man, Jesse, I hope this isn't the last time we get to talk, carnal. Man, I hope we get to chop it up again. You got a lot of knowledge. I would love to talk more old school wrestling and new school wrestling and 90s wrestling and where the wrestling where it's headed. There's gonna be a future of wrestling, so where is it headed? But man, I would just really love to
that's what I tell my students. They're the future right now. They're the future,
Yeah,
they're the future.
But man, with that, we're gonna cut it right there. Gracias to all the junkies, man. I will go ahead and there'll be some sort of link for all the information of all the shows. We could go ahead and check out everything that my man Jesse's putting out there, man. Some good work. I'm gonna go ahead and check it out my dang self as well. So that's for sure. But gracias so much, Jesse Hernandez, for tapping in, man. I want to give a shout out to all the junkies. Jesse Hernandez, and my man Richard that made all this happening. Gracias, carnal. And until the next time, we'll catch you guys later.
Thank you.